on.
Yeah, we also have a briefing that's going on at the Flagstaff fire. Of course, that's burning in South Boulder. As you look at the map here, it appears a lightning may have sparked this fire. That's the leading theory right now. It has about 28 homes evacuated, another 2,400 on alert to evacuate.
And Tyler Lopez is live at the Boulder County Sheriff's Office, where a briefing there just wrapped up. And Tyler, the air attack will be key today.
Definitely. And you'll see as we talk about what's going on here that Bear Peak is the hot spot. That's the northern section. That's where it's moving the most, and it's heading downhill towards the folks who live in Boulder. So that's the concern as we talk to Kim Kobel with the City of Boulder and Commander Rick Brough with Boulder County Sheriff's Office. We want to take a look at this map and the areas that are of concern to you. And I guess in terms of perspective, this is the top of Bear Peak.
Right. This is where the fire started on Bear Peak yesterday. And this is the boundary of the fire. Where it's burning hottest right now is on this north side, where we're going to have our most aggressive attacks, and they will be from the air, are probably going to be in Division B and Division Y. To give you some perspective, NCAR is right here. The Shanahan Ridge area is here, and this is where the Table Mesa, Highland Park neighborhoods are that are on the pre-evacuation notice. We are building a defensible line here, about a 3/4 mile long, where you see the dots. There are some houses in the Shanahan Ridge area that are right up against the foothills, and we want to put something between them and the fire if it comes down the hill. So we will be out doing that today. These areas here, we'll be laying fire lines, and those will be hand crews laying lines out there.
Southwest.
But this is going to be the southwest area, yes. This is going to be mostly from the air, and as we've talked about, we have 7 aircraft. We're planning on a very aggressive attack, and as long as the winds and Mother Nature cooperate today, we'll be up in the air, hopefully getting some slurry on this fire.
Got to be nervous though as you watch that fire go to the top of Bear Peak, potentially start coming down the hill. At what point do you say that's it? We've got to get folks, once it gets to this point or wherever it is, what's your trigger point to say, let's do this? And then how do you evacuate a city of this size?
Well,
if you have to.
A lot of it will depend on how fast the fire is moving and what direction it's moving. We want to give people as much time as possible to evacuate, because it's hard to make good decisions when you're under stress. And so we're trying to let people know that there are pre-evacuation orders in place right now, and that if we say that you need to evacuate, please heed our warning and evacuate. There are going to be a number of people all trying to get out of there at the same time. It can be done. The police department will be in charge of that evacuation. We are going to be stationed out there, and this is what our officers do.
Would it make sense to think about the crowded events you had, Boulder and others, and how difficult it can be to get around sometimes?
Well, it can be difficult to get around, but again, we're going to focus on public safety, and again, our officers, our sheriff's deputies, our firefighters are very good at this, and this is why we're warning people now so that they can be ready. Our concern, and you can see this terrain right here, how difficult and rough and rugged this is. There's really no way to get hand crews in there, and so that's why we're focusing on the air attack, which was going to start about 8 o'clock this morning, but we've been here with you, and so I'm not sure if they're up in the air at this moment. And I just wanted to point out, too, we have 2 structure protection crews, teams, divisions out there. This structure protection division is going to focus on the Flagstaff communities that are sort of back in the county, those areas that were evacuated yesterday. This structure protection group is going to be stationed, ready to go if the fire starts coming down the mountain. And again, this is kind of by Shanahan Ridge and sort of where this defensible line is going to be. And again, here is NCAR.
And your federal Type 1 team not here yet, but do you expect them today or tomorrow?
The federal team will be here later today, and we are expecting to transfer command either tonight or tomorrow. They will be able to get access to federal resources that we have more difficulty getting at a local level.
Let's talk about that, because there are so many other fires. Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, here we are in Boulder. Everybody's got a need at this point, but you've got a command center that's going to try and dole those out.
Correct. They're setting up an area command, and basically what they'll do is prioritize resources for the different fires.
Do you anticipate a problem with that at all?
I don't think so. Like I said, area command, they take into consideration what's going on at all the different fires. And like I said before, we've got a lot of people in this area, air resources, firefighters, just because of the other fires. So we've been bringing people in for the last month.
We had great luck yesterday. We decided early on, before this fire started weeks ago, that if there was a grass fire or a spot fire, we were going to request air resources right away. We did that, and we got the resources that we requested. And so I think we were in the air very shortly after this fire started to, to try to stop it. But as Rick has talked about, and maybe you could talk about this, those winds blow those embers very far ahead of the fire.
Yeah, they were talking about the fire behavior. It was an aggressive fire yesterday just because of the wind, And yesterday what we were having is the embers were blowing a quarter mile in front of the actual fire itself. So we're getting a lot of spot fires. They're expecting that again today. We've got thunderstorms planned to come in this afternoon. They're expecting possibly up to a half a mile. These spot fires could be a half a mile in front of the fire.
Wind seemed strong very early in the day. At 6 a.m. they were blowing around 19 miles an hour. That's got to be a concern.
It is. The wind is always, you know, from experience from 4 miles, some of the fires we've had before, when you get wind pushing a fire, it's very hard to keep control of it.
You didn't lose any homes. Do you take any solace from that?
Well, no homes, no structures were threatened in the city yesterday. We did do the evacuation in the county, and so, yeah, we're very happy. Our focus will be on structure protection and public safety. So, obviously, if that fire comes down the mountain, we would be concentrating on the neighborhoods, you know, versus, you know, the forest.
And no question, you saw that scene in Colorado Springs. You had to be thinking, if we had to do that, how would we go about doing it?
That scene in Colorado Springs is very troubling and anxiety-provoking to a lot of people. I spoke to our fire chief this morning about whether or not that could happen here in Boulder, and he explained to me sort of what the situation was and circumstances in Colorado Springs. In the Springs, you've got houses in the lower area, like the prairie meadows of the foothills, and then you've got them going all the way up the mountains and up the ridge. And so when that fire comes down, the houses are right in the direct path. Luckily, we do not have that in Boulder where this fire is right now. There's a lot of open space. It's burning in the county, but on city open space. Where we're worried about is these neighborhoods. NCAR has done a lot of mitigation, fire mitigation. And the good news is if it comes this way, it's going to be easier for firefighters to defend because there's defensible space around there. So I think the situation in Colorado Springs is very tragic and it's very scary, and we don't think that that will happen here because we don't have the same amount of homes going up the slope.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kim Kobel. Commander Rick Brough with the county. We've got 250 personnel in the fire, and it was, as we said, a Type 1 team expected to arrive either today or tomorrow, but most of the fight today is going to be from the air. But as you heard, 2 different hand crews making sure that they are ready should this fire get towards homes, guys.
Yeah, now 230 acres there in the Boulder area, and still, as Tyler's been pointing out, because of the winds, 0% containment right now.
And as Tyler was talking, we just got a new pre-evacuation